Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks at TalkToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about how needless suffering and a lack of success is not honoring to God. Many people have this idea that if they're suffering in life, then that is somehow bringing glory to God. Now there are certainly people in the original foundational church, the early Christians, whose suffering did bring glory because it called attention to Jesus, and throughout the centuries we've had the influence of Christian teaching and Christian people showing God's goodness in this world. But most people today, I talk to a lot of people, and most people today, the problems they're suffering, the quote-unquote sufferings they're going through, have nothing to do with persecution for the faith, nothing to do with people hating God and attacking you. It has vastly more to do with people's own behavior and bad choices. Now, there are, of course, things that are circumstances that happen to people beyond their control, but a lot of that is because they submitted their control to the world, to just allow chance and time and things to control them, and they're not taking active choices in their daily life to make decisions that bring about the best results. They're just kind of going with the flow. And God never set you up for that. If you just go with the flow and you're a farmer and you go out to your field and like, well, why is there no crops here? You didn't plant any seeds. You didn't do the work required. Now you can go and blame the government. You can blame the world. You can blame your neighbor. You can blame the wind. You can blame wild animals or whatever. But you didn't do the things you need to do. The suffering you're now partaking of is your own choice. No, you didn't say, oh, I want to suffer, but you did everything to put yourself in that position to suffer. And that's what most people are going through, needless suffering. I'm not talking about legitimate suffering that somebody's going through that seems beyond their control. Although, like I said, if you're not making conscious decisions each and every day about your thoughts and about your actions, then you have made a decision to cause that suffering of your own accord because you have submitted your will to the world, to allow it to just run wild on you. You haven't submitted yourself therefore unto God and resisted the devil and had him flee from you. So you're just tossed about to and fro. But there's even a step beyond that where people are doing things actively that are counter their betterment, counter other people's betterment, and then they wonder why they're suffering. You know, 1 Peter 2:20 says, "For what glory is it, if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when you do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God." You see, you're not virtuous, you're not bringing honor to God when you're suffering and buffeted for your faults, because you made bad decisions, because you're constantly making bad decisions, because you've given your will over to the world and you've stopped taking responsibility for your own life. You stop making decisions for your own life and you allow other people to control it. One of the biggest things you can do in your life to get the life that you want is to take active control right here and now of your thought life. You can blame the world, you can talk about all these problems in the world that may exist, but do they have to be affecting your life? Many people never even thought of that. Okay, the economy's this, the world's this, there's this problem, that problem. Why should any of that affect you? If you are making the right decisions, thinking from the right place of truly honoring God, focused on His goodness day in and day out, why would those kind of things be affecting you? Now, there's certainly things that go on in the world. If it's raining, you get an umbrella. But I'm talking about negatively impacting you, not just a little inconvenience here and there, because sometimes that stuff drives you into other areas for even more betterment for you. But if someone's life is one of consistent problems, heartaches, sufferings, buffeting, you do need to step back and say, is this for good? Am I being buffeted? Am I being caused to suffer because I did well? Because I'm doing the right thing? Or is it because of my faults? Because I'm making bad decisions? Because I'm spending hours a day on the media, social media, the news, all these things that are dragging me down? My thought life is out of control. I don't have Jesus as Lord of my thoughts. My thoughts are just going everywhere. And I'm not focused on things of good report, things that are lovely, things that are true, things that are praiseworthy. I'm just tossed about to and fro. Because if your thoughts are like that, just going everywhere, people are controlling it, people are influencing you, people control how you think, then you're going to have a world of suffering that is completely needless suffering. There's no benefit to it. There's no glory in it. What glory is there if you're buffeted for your faults and you take it patiently? You shouldn't take that patiently. You should look for the cause and resolve it. And the cause is not being in control of your thoughts, not recognizing that it is from your heart that flows the issues of life. That day in and day out, if you're not the ruler under Jesus of your thoughts, that you don't bring all thoughts into captivity and cast down the ones that are against the knowledge of God, against His goodness, against His peace, against His joy, against His Spirit. If you're not doing that, then your life is going to be one of randomness, chance, and a lot of problems that are needless. You have a choice. You have a decision to make. Each and every day when you wake up. It doesn't matter what happened the day before. It doesn't matter what somebody tells you your capabilities are or are not. What are you going to do today? What is your decision today? Is it for the good? Are the thoughts of your heart pure? They're focused on the goodness of God and the grace of God in your life? And you recognize and you live from that place? Or is it reactionary? Seeing whatever's going on in the world and reacting in fear, reacting in anger, reacting in panic, being anxious. Because that's a lot of people's lives. It's a reactionary life lived based on other people's input instead of being one of focus on God, of seeing the good, and then enacting His goodness in your life through your choices, your actions. Like I mentioned, the farmer who wants the crop, who wants the fullness of the blessing of God in their lives, is going to have to go and plant the seeds for his harvest. He's going to have to water. He's going to have to tend to it. God will give him the harvest, but he's going to have to plant some seeds, and he's going to do some work. He can sit inside his house and look out at his field and bemoan his fate and why hasn't God blessed him, and do all these things and blame the devil and blame people. Or he can focus on the good. He can take the wisdom he has from God and act God's goodness in his own life, and he'll receive a harvest. My friend, there's something you could be doing today that would better your life. From the very beginning of your day when you wake up, are you choosing the best life? Are you choosing the decisions that are going to bring about your best? If the first thing you're doing is going to social media or the news and all these things, you're immediately putting yourself in a position of failure. Or at very minimum, in a position to be reactionary. You're looking to the world, you're looking to social media on how you're going to react and how you're going to feel and how you're going to think throughout your day. Instead of being the person who is ruling over their own thought life, under God, under Jesus, looking for the good, looking for God's grace, and thinking about that. Creating your day based on that, on thoughts of good things, of good report, that are true, that are virtuous, that are praiseworthy, that are lovely. Those lovely things that you think about and focus on and create your day based on. My friend, God's given you great power. Don't let it go to waste. Using that creative power within you that He's given you to think, to have a mind. You're not a plant. You have actual thoughts, and you can, by those thoughts, change your life for the good or for the bad. You can cause yourself to have endless sufferings, because of your faults, or you can cause yourself to have endless blessings because of God's grace, because you look to it, because you speak on it, because you think about it day in and day out. My friend, don't let the cares of this world drag you down. Don't let the world cause you to be reactionary because you choose to allow it to change how you think, to be what you think about. Choose your thoughts today. Choose righteous thoughts, good thoughts, pure thoughts, lovely thoughts, thoughts of good report, thoughts that are praiseworthy, my friend. I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.